ladies, welcome to week 4 of Tone Up, Taming the Tone in Your Home. This week we reflected in the live group about how it went with changing the meditations of our heart and focusing on whatever is true, noble, right, pure, lovely, admirable, excellent, and praiseworthy, and also thinking about whatever was pleasing in the Lord's sight. And I had the girls go around and each of them share something that met one of those criteria from the week. So that was, and I confess that one of the things that's been a problem for me is that I seem to be either doing great and totally thinking about tone and very cognizant of my words and very affirming and or I just sort of let all this frustration and passive-aggressive feelings build up in me and come to a head, and then I just say, screw it, forget it, I don't care about my words, I'm going to yell at them, or I'm going to nag them, or I'm going to whine at them, or I'm going to complain at them, and then it all goes out the window. And I seem to, it's almost conscious, like I know that I'm about to shift from doing okay to blowing up. And maybe my blowing up is actually silent, like tension. But basically it's gone from being a good tone to being a bad zone. And I gave the comparison that we've been working with our dog to, this is not a solicitation for dog advice, I cannot handle anymore. It's like almost worse than baby advice. But anyway, our dog has some issues with people coming over and her barking at them. And you can kind of see the moment where she goes from like, I'm okay, I'm okay, I'm okay, I'm not okay, I'm going to bark at you. And there's a moment in there where I feel like we can, like shift her attention, distract her, throw a ball, throw a snack, and snap her out of that. And I shared with the girls that I feel like that's what I need spiritually in that moment. There's sort of a volcano happening in me that builds up and builds up and builds up. And I need at that moment, instead of the switch flipping and my thought process going to anger or complaining or this boil up of negative expression, that I want to have enough awareness to turn differently. So this week, the two verses that we're going to focus on are Psalm 89:1. I will sing of the steadfast love of the Lord forever. With my mouth I will make known your faithfulness to all generations. And the other is, the version we're using is a little strange. It combines Colossians 3:12 with the first part of 14. So it's because of the song we're using with Seeds Family Worship. Put on then, as God's chosen ones, holy and beloved, compassionate hearts, kindness, humility, meekness, and patience. And above all these, put on love. And during the course of our discussion, one girl shared that she, in another study, had read that to remind yourself of a particular lesson, that one thing you can do to help trigger a new thought pattern is change your watch and your ring to another hand, so that every time you look down and see your watch is not where you expect it to be and are forced to look at the other hand, that will trigger you to think in a different way. So I thought that was a good idea, and I'm thinking about doing it. I need to move my watch over. But it reminded me of this Colossians passage where it's talking about physically putting on those characteristics, compassionate hearts, kindness, humility, meekness, and patience. And those are the traits that I want to demonstrate, and those are the traits that I want people around me to demonstrate, and then I need a model to my children and to my husband. And the characteristic common to both of these passages is love. And it made me think of, in a little bit of a different context, more in the context of marriage and trust, the idea of when conflict is arising, or there's a broken trust relationship, or there's an emotional issue, that you can make a decision in a relationship to turn towards someone at a moment of conflict or turn away. And I feel like in those moments where the pressure in the relationship is building to where my tone is about to turn into a negative one, I have a choice at that moment that I'm either going to focus on myself, my self-love, my plans, my schedule, my agenda, my purpose, or I can turn towards love and the love of the person, the love of the relationship, mercy for that person, patience with that person. That putting on love and turning toward love is going to enable me to see the best in that person, to consider their interests, not just my own, and change my tone. So we're going to focus this week on memorizing these two passages and really emphasizing that the sort of the turning point of our speech is love. That God's love for us should compel us to love others. And in those moments where all of us were expressing that it's going somewhere, it's getting out the door, when there's no time to sort of sit down and have this sweet little conversation, that our tone tends to go south quickly. So in those circumstances, can we really still have compassionate hearts? Can we still be kind? Can we still be humble? Can we still be meek? And can we still be patient? Can love still compel us? And in our relationships with our spouses, I don't tend to yell at my husband. We don't argue, but sometimes I go like cold, like I'm submitting to you, so I will just not speak to you for a while. And that isn't compassionate, that's not kind, that's not humble, that's not meek or patient. I'm done with him. I've turned away from him in that scenario. So I also gave the live group a challenge that I'd like to extend to you, and that is going to be to look in Scripture and see if you can find any instances of Jesus speaking to people in a different way than you would have in a similar circumstance. So we're basically going to be analyzing what kind of tone Jesus used with his followers, and how that compares to our tone. And we're just going to start doing some analysis. So look at circumstances like, say, when people were chopping off other people's ears, or when people were saying, hey, we ran out of wine, what should we do? And how maybe Jesus responded differently than what you would have done. I look forward to hearing what you have to say about that on the Facebook page, and talking to you more next week for week 5. Thanks for joining.